Today I'm gonna live with Lissa Love with Romance, and I'm so excited to invite her. We're gonna talk about love of nature and traveling as raw vegan, and maybe self-love and self-acceptance if we have time more. And hello, Lissa. Oh. Have you already checked her book? I think so. But I love her new book, Tales from Tailgate. Lisa, thank you for coming.
You're so very welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me to have a little chat with you.
Oh, yes, of course. It's so lovely. Thank you. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm been doing so much stuff with the bundle and making lots of really delicious food and trying to get through everyone's books and reading through everything because there's so many good things in this bundle this year.
Yeah, so many good things, and everything is unique, and it's very, very inspiring.
It really is. Thank you so much for joining every year. Your contribution is always so special and precious.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm not so good at making so beautiful recipes, so I was always wondering how can I contribute to the bundle. So I wanted to add in more color, maybe variety in the bundle. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And it's good because, we have a lot of recipes and stuff, but there's so many other aspects to a healthy diet that we need to focus on. And your contribution is always such a breath of fresh air because we need to focus on self-love and caring about ourselves. And it's so nice to incorporate that with all the recipes.
Right. So much.
Yeah.
Aspect.
Mm-hmm. So how did you start to cultivate more self-love?
Self-love? Self-love? So this vegan lifestyle gives me it gives me the opportunity of personal growth, always, constantly. So I cultivated self-love from my struggles with vegan lifestyle and from the old habit struggles, but mainly from struggles. So I wanted to openly share my experience, but yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And nature too. You spend so much time in nature and you like to go hiking.
I really go like hiking. Actually, I didn't get time of hiking this few years, but I I remember you love nature, and that was so fascinating me. You started to spending more time in nature. Maybe a few years ago you
It
started, or
was, when I was living in Canada, I did go for hikes here and there, but there wasn't a lot of places that I could go. And it was really cold a lot of the time. So I didn't really spend as much time in nature as I do now because now that I live in the United States where it's warmer, there's more places that I can go. I definitely spend a lot more time in nature and especially getting together with Nate. He's a real nature boy. He spends a lot of time in nature. He spent most of his life camping and hiking and doing stuff like that. So he's been a very big influence in my life to get me out in nature. And when I was living in Canada, I didn't I loved nature to a point, but it was either too cold or there was lots of bugs, 'cause there's tons of mosquitoes where I'm from. and it wasn't enjoyable to be outside as much. But now here, I've really learned that I've been missing out a lot in my life. So moving here has been very, very good for me to spend time in nature. And Nate and I like to go out every Sunday that we can. Every Sunday we pick a different hike. We pack up our raw food. We go for a hike and we just spend time in nature.
That looks so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved your new book, Tales from the Tailgate. That was mind blowing. I just read your book and maybe 3 or 40 minutes and just after that, I just keep walking, just mind blowing silently in nature. Wow. Yeah.
What were your favorite things about that book?
All like tips and strategy and recipes, all is good, but just like I felt the synergy of both of you, Nate and Lisa, and that kind of synergy. I can't explain, but yeah, that was just amazing.
Aw, thank you.
Very inspiring.
Thank you. Were there any things in there that kind of were like, whoa, like really opened your eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So many fun things in there. I'm really glad you like it.
Yeah, I know you love nature. I just remember last night, I found you at the Woodstock Food Festival. 2019. It's a wedding year. 2019. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I always went to short hike when I attended the Woodstock Food Festival. Every day I go to short hike, and it's rare to meet people during in the woods. And one day I found people, but they are wearing wedding dress in the woods. Yeah, and oh wow, wedding dress in the woods, and that was so beautiful. And oh, I think they are so loving nature, and I remember. So I didn't know that Nate is so good at camping and spend time in nature. That was so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, he spent most of his life in Oregon. He grew up in the desert, but he moved to Oregon when he was in his teens. So he spent a lot of his life doing a lot of like river stuff and camping and with his family has his two boys, so they would go and do all kinds of stuff, right? But I didn't do as much of that when I was younger. I did go camping with my dad and my mom, and we would do some stuff, but again, most of it was just like 1 week in the summer when it was vacation time. But the rest of the time, yeah, it just wasn't as accessible as it is here in the States. So yeah, Nate's really good. He's really good at packing.
Oh,
And he's really good at making sure that we have absolutely everything we need when we go out. He's always thinking ahead in case.
he's so amazing. He's so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you watch the video on his solar powered generator that he built?
Not yet, not yet. But
It's so cool.
wow, I'm so
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to check further. I didn't finish your book yet.
I know it's a big one. It's
Yeah.
about it's 277 pages and there's over 100 recipes in there too. So,
It's
mm-hmm.
it's a almost quarter of all the recipe in the bundle. So
Yeah.
only your book your book is the tales from the tailgate and raw make it raw three.
Yeah.
Only three.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the Make It Raw 3 was a good one too.
Yeah, so beyond words, I cannot. How amazing it is! Wow, it's on next level always.
Thank you.
And I want to ask about the tips and tricks on traveling raw. And what's the most challenging part on traveling as raw vegan so far? Or maybe going to hiking. I like hiking.
Yeah, I think the most challenging thing, honestly, would probably be how long you're going. Because if you're going for a short hike, it's really easy.
Yeah,
You just bring what you need with you. But when you start to do like overnight camping or 2 days camping and hiking, like you hike up a mountain, you sleep
right.
on the mountain, you have to carry all your food on your back that you're going to need. And as raw vegans, we like to eat a lot of fresh stuff that's full of water and it's heavy. So
Yes,
it's hard to carry everything that we need up for multiple days. But we've discovered that, freeze dried food and even taking a little bit of fresh food up with us, because if once we eat it, we don't have to carry
right,
it anymore, right?
right.
So our bags get a little bit lighter. But yeah, one time, and I did share this story in the Tales book, was one time we did an overnight backpack trip and we took melons with us and we took burger patties because we wanted to make burgers up there. We took a head of iceberg lettuce and a tomato and a few other things to make the toppings. And we also brought our cold soaks. And the cold soaks are freeze dried and dehydrated ingredients, and you just add water and let it soak for 4 to 6 hours. And then you have a little meal. It's kind of like a chili or a stew or something like that. And so for that camping trip, we had melons when we woke up, and then we had our burgers the night, like when we set up camp, we had our burgers for dinner, and then the next day we had our melons, and then we also had sprouted oats that we used to make like a fruity kind of oatmeal style soak in the morning as well. So we did find that it was a nice balance to have some of the freeze dried and soaked food and some fresh food. But as you add more days, it just gets harder and harder to bring enough food with you on those. So I would say that's probably the hardest part about it.
Yeah,
But otherwise, just making sure that you have a good plan, making sure that you bring enough water,
yeah,
which is super important, because
yes,
not only do you need to drink water, but if you're bringing cold soaks with you, you have to have enough water to make the cold soak too, right? So yeah, just planning, making sure you have everything, making sure you tell somebody where you're going, just in case anything were to happen to you. And even in the Tales from the Tailgate ebook, I share safety tips, ideas, and things like you can take walkie-talkies or you can get a GPS watch that your loved ones can know where you are at all times. So those are really important things too when you're going out in the middle of nowhere where there's nobody to make sure that you have what you need. But yeah, that would be probably the hardest thing. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to take,
yeah,
whatever fruit. You can
yeah.
take
That's
fruit in your
good.
backpack and a
Uh,
wrap.
yes, rough, rough.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's like a heaviness. Weight is the most challenging part if we go longer hike. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I only had dried fruits like a fig and raisin and water for my long hike. But freeze dried one is good. I haven't never tried so.
Oh my, yeah. If you're able to find some ingredients, because you can order them online, and you can get ingredients and you can make your own cold soak. So when you do go hiking, you have a meal that's very, very light. It's super light. So you can fit a lot more calories on your back without the weight. It's not as heavy. But on that note, I will say that carrying a lot of weight on our backs is actually really beneficial for our bone density. It helps our bones to get stronger when we are carrying more weight on our backs. So in a way, even though it's uncomfortable and it's heavy, it's actually good for us to carry that extra weight to strengthen our bones.
Right. And then we get used to that.
Yeah, exactly. And then as you eat, your pack gets lighter.
It's lighter. Yeah, that's a good part.
Yeah.
So, is that anything you noticed that spending nature more changed your life?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yes, I feel like I want to be outside more. The more I am outside, the more I want to be outside. And I'm a city girl. I love living in the city. I absolutely love it. Like this morning, I was taking a walk and it was super sunny and I could hear the buses. You know how they go when the buses stop?
A bus stop.
Yeah, the bus stop. I love that sound. Like I like to hear the sounds of the city. It gives me joy for some reason. But I also love that we can go out into nature and just be the best of both worlds. And that's why we like living in Las Vegas, because there's a lot of nature all around us. And we can go up into the mountains, or we can drive a little bit and get to the beach, or we can go into the Red Rocks. There's like so many different kinds of nature all around us here. So it's really cool to explore. And I feel like spending more time in nature has made me want to explore more and see where can we go next? What can we see next? Yeah. Hi, Jen.
Yeah, by the way, I enjoyed the talk with in the live so much.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, she's got some amazing recipes. Seriously. Yeah. Her Korean barbecue was amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She's so creative and that's amazing. But so many amazing books in the bundle, so get the bundle.
Yes, everybody get the bundle. Go follow Sachi. Go check out her Instagram and give her a follow and buy the bundle from the link in her bio. And download all the ebooks and enjoy some fun new recipes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
And back to the talk. Back to me. No. Um. So I love your like you're so creative and you mentioned your city girl. You are so always beautiful and but you go to nature so often, more than often than oh okay. so so how can you make it possible to both like you work on PC and enjoy city and go to nature so like engaged in nature in so depth.
Yeah.
How can you make it possible both?
For both? Yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good question because it's easy to get sucked into the city
Yeah,
and it's easy to lose yourself in stores and buying stuff and driving around. It's easy. So in our life, that's why we choose to have self-care Sunday. And so every Sunday that we can, right now, Nate is in Oregon, so we aren't able to do it. But even when he was away, last weekend, I went to the nature preserve. I don't have a vehicle right now, so I had to walk, and it was like an hour and a half walk to get there and an hour and a half walk home. But I wanted to go and be in nature on a Sunday because my body is used to it. I want that weekly dose of nature. So I went to the nature preserve and I got to see the butterflies and the roses, and I got to eat a wrap in the rose garden. It was so beautiful. I'm going to share a video on YouTube soon of that, probably tomorrow.
Please, please.
Yeah, but you have to plan it. That's really what comes down to it. You have to set aside a day where you decide to go out in nature, because if you don't, a month will go by, 2 months will go by, 3 months will go by, and then eventually it's Christmas time and it's cold or it's not the greatest weather. So we have to set aside the time to go and spend time in nature. And I feel like people say that the diet is super important, but I also think spending time in nature is equally important. Like, we have to go and do exercise. We have to spend time in the sunshine. We have to relax. Like, when we're out in nature and we're eating our wraps, it's just us and nature and the wraps. There's no TV. There's no phones. I mean, we do take pictures and videos, but we don't watch a TV show, and it's just us and nature with our food, and it's so awesome. We look forward to those days every week.
Yeah, it's completely different world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's amazing for me. You get bored. When I work on PC, not forgot, but it's difficult for me to go nature so often. If I go to nature, I want to touch my PC, so it's hard for me to get bored. But you managed so well, so that's inspiring. But planning is relatively easy. Just planning on the paper, but take action. Take take action. Okay,
Take action.
Do it.
Yeah, do it.
Do it is maybe harder than just planning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about self-discipline, or how can we get execute.
Execute, yeah. I feel like the more you do it, the easier it gets. So when we first started doing the Self-Care Sunday, it was, when you first start, you're motivated. You are excited to do it and all of that. So after a couple weeks, we had to remember that we were doing it so that we could do it, because it's easy to forget. Like I said, it's easy to get sucked into the city. It's easy to say, oh, well, let's stay home and work instead, or let's stay home and clean the house. So we really had to keep doing it. And every Sunday we had no excuse. We're like, no, today we're going to spend time in nature. And we didn't get every day in, but in 2023, we managed to do 36 different hikes
36
out of 52 weeks. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was like, even though it wasn't every week, we still tried super hard to make sure that it was a pattern that we were starting to create. And now when Sunday comes, it's like our bodies crave it because it knows it's going to come, right? So it's a habit that you build, and it just takes time.
I want to try it.
You should.
It's a commitment.
Yeah, it is a commitment, and it does take planning, and you do have to make sure that you don't have anything going on that day. You have to make sure that you're able to get to the nature. You have to make sure that you plan your meals. Like, if we go on a Sunday hike, which we do, we usually start making our wraps on Friday night, because then if we start making our wraps on Friday night, then they're ready Saturday morning, and then we wrap them, we fill them up with all the fillings, and we wrap them up on Saturday night, and then on Sunday we have our lunch. We don't have to make everything in the morning. All we do is make our smoothie, we pack our wrap. And then if we're going somewhere far away, we usually bring an extra meal just in case we need more food. So we'll usually bring a salad and a dressing as well in our cooler. But usually we just go out for the day and we take our wrap, but we have to start it Friday night. So every Friday night we put wraps in the dehydrator. It's just like, it's a habit now. So we have our wraps on Sunday.
Oh, thank you for telling me that. It's not just a quick, just boom. You need, but it's an Instagram post and Instagram we saw just the finished product. So yeah, that takes time. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Wow.
have to plan and you have to make sure that you get everything ready to go because like you said, I mean, it's easy to take fruit. It's easy to chop up a salad and blend a dressing. But if you're going to plan for something like the raw burgers or the raw tacos or anything like that, you have to start those early. But then you don't have to do anything on the day because it's already made. So
that's so enjoyable. That means it's so enjoyable. So I just wanna check my. So you have to go. You have to go. I think you wanna enjoy dinner. So I hope we we talk again sometime. But yeah.
Yes. I love chatting with you and thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you
the
so
bundle.
much.
You're such a beautiful soul. We love you so much.
Oh, thank you. But we love you too so much. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And everybody go buy the bundle. Go follow sky.love.light.
Thank you.
And yes, go get the bundle from the link in her bio.
Both in our bios. So, oh, thank you very much.
Thank you. Great. You're wonderful. All right, it's time to go eat dinner for me.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.